Okay, what you need to pay attention to is what the liners are made out of. Right, the stuffing might be cotton, but I'll tell you, I, as some of the older boys will tell you, I am a great pusher of Walmart. And I push Walmart because, don't I?
Because it's cheap.
Because it's cheap and it has all the stuff. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars at REI or something like that to buy gear to go camping, gear to be outside, when there is gear that is perfectly suitable at a place like Walmart or Target.
What about Coleman?
I've found
They're
Coleman's to
pricey.
be a little bit more pricey. Right? Even like looking at sleeping bags, Coleman's always seem to be that next level up. Let me continue here, boys. Sleeping. Oh, let's see what I say here. Stay dry. There you go. The single most important act a scout can do is to keep his clothing dry in the winter. A wet scout is a cold scout. A sweaty scout is a cold scout. When you think you're hot and you're running around and you're unzipping your jacket and you're opening up the layers because you're sweating, that sweat is water. It's going to freeze. All right, so you need to pay attention to that up front. When you start to feel warm, work on your layers right away. Don't get sweaty. Okay, I'm going to continue. Sleeping, indoors, outdoors, cabins, tents. It's all about layering. Right? Sleeping bag liners. What does flannel equal? You can all read it on the page. A flannel lining is
Cotton.
Cotton. That's correct. Here we are with cotton again. All right. On this particular trip, although some of you guys are going to Arctic, so I hope you're paying attention for that too. But on this particular trip for Klondike Derby, the troop is scheduled to sleep in the line cabins. The line cabins are small cabins that have 4, 6, or 8 bunks in them, depending on how they're set up at the time, and a little propane furnace. Right? And they're notorious for having broken furnaces, having power failures, or running out of propane. The line cabins are not insulated. So if that furnace turns off, right, that line cabin in 20 minutes will be the outside temperature. Right? Exactly like being in a tent. So you need to make sure that you are prepared. Right? Do not think that you're going to go sleeping in the living room at home. There are no extra blankets around. Right? It's what you bring. Be prepared. So, in a cabin, especially those cabins, we sleep on pads, mattresses, nice foam mattresses. Sounds a lot like the foam pad that I talk about when we talk about tent camping. Right? Nice foam pad, nice foam mattress. Bring your wool blanket with you. Spread your wool blanket over the top of that pad because that pad top is vinyl. That vinyl can be pretty darn cold in the winter to put your hand onto or something. And then put your sleeping bag on top of that and you'll be fine. And if you get really cold, after you've been laying there for a while, you can actually swap the position and put the blanket over the top of the sleeping bag. Right? A lot of boys get sleeping bags that are rated for really, really, really cold, you know, minus 20, minus 30, and then they end up unzipping them. And then 3 hours later, they're freezing cold. Well, the trick with that is you unzip it, and then you spread the blanket over the top of you to keep a little bit of the warmth in. Right? But you need to be prepared to effectively be sleeping outside the tent, even though we're inside in the line cabins with furnaces. Right? If it gets that cold, obviously the troop will do something. But in the meantime, getting there, you never know. Was there a question? No? Okay. So, in tents, we've talked about tents before. Right? With the layers that we sleep on in tents, tarp, tent bottom, blue pad, the foam, closed cell foam pad, right? The wool blanket, and then the sleeping bag, layers underneath you building up. Cabin's the same thing, bunk, foam pad, blanket, and then you. All right? You want to make sure that you have enough insulation under you. That's what keeps you warm. 20-degree sleeping bag or 20-degree or better sleeping bag is sufficient for what this troop does for camping. Unless you're going to Klondike, then you might want to have something warmer. Right? So I have a link here, that Walmart.com catalog product. That is a full-size mummy bag. What did I say about the construction of it? It's double-layer construction insulation, so it's built correctly. There's no cold spots. It has the tube that runs down the side. It's the mummy that comes around the top and closes in nice and tight. It's designed for anybody up through 6'2". I know some of you guys are smaller than that, but I strongly recommend not buying a youth bag. You're in Scouts, you're going to go camping, and trust me, you'll all grow.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know too many Scouts that stay here. You'll all grow, and you'll want this bag. And the nice thing is when you're smaller at this point, you get down in that bag and pull it in after you. Right? Or maybe you decide that the clothes you're gonna wear tomorrow morning, you go sleep down the bottom of the bag and they're up at the top and they're kinda warm. Right? Or maybe your pillow fits inside. Everybody's gonna remember to bring a pillow, right?
No.
Did everybody forget to bring a pillow?
I use my bag.
Man,
I use my backpack.
you stuff your clothes in, then fold it
Put
over.
over
And
the back part.
Yep. A lot of guys do that. They take the stuff bag from their sleeping bag, put in tomorrow's clothes and use it as their pillow.
What I do is I take my jeans and wrap them up, and I can put them underneath, like right down.
Guys do that too. They put them underneath the sleeping bag. They use it as a layer under their sleeping bag, and that keeps them a little bit warm too. So the point of this little discussion and that little thing right there in the middle with that URL link is that this is what did I say this was? This was a 5-degree bag, 5, not 20, but 5-degree bag for $25. You do not have to spend all outdoors to do this. Right? To run on a small tangent, Walmart here in Massachusetts now sells a camping stove that runs on those little butane tanks, the ones like that, that screws down onto it. They sell one of those for under $30. I think it's under $25, and it's on the shelf right now in the store. Right? These are the camp stoves, the backpacking camp stoves. You don't have to go to REI, you don't have to go to Dick's Sporting Goods. Shop around a little bit, save mom and dad some money. Layers, layers, layers. This is where I talked about layers. The line cabin propane furnaces, toasty warm. Wood stoves can make them hot. So that's the other cabins, the wood stoves can actually make those cabins boiling hot. We're not allowed to sleep on the top layer because it's so hot. Yes.
Before they took out the top one, I was once sleeping up there and we're using a wood stove and
You can't breathe.
in the middle of the night everyone woke up because they were sweating. So everyone went on the middle bunks and the bottom bunks.
Yep.
Then they got cold because the fire went out.
Fire went out and they were wet. My point exactly. Right? In the rest of the cabins except for the line cabins, there's no propane furnaces. It's wood stoves. When that fire goes out, as it has a tendency to do because everybody's nice and comfy and warm, somebody forgets that they have to stay up and stoke the wood stove at 2 a.m. or so. Right? Everybody freezes. Pretty cold in those buildings. There's no extra blankets around. Be prepared. That's the best advice I can give you guys. All right? Be prepared. This is an outdoor event. All right? Could you go get your backpack?